Oh, okay. All right. We are here, man. I heard this a long time ago. It was a quote by Frank Sinatra. And it was, and I've adopted it as my own too. You only live once, but if you live like me, once is enough. Okay, we tuned into Beard and Conversation here on Global Vision. I'm your host, Larry Hodges, and that's my brother, Justice Hodges, right there.
Howdy.
So very interesting week. A lot of stuff has happened. We had, what was it? The first black female Supreme Court Justice, correct?
That's correct.
What is her name? What's her name? It's
Kata.
I want to say it properly, and while I do that, I had my Braves hat on because the Braves have opening night. We won the World Series last year, and it is now opening night. Sorry, I look like a chia pet right now.
Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I guess you could say that we made history. I don't. We'll see what happens, what she does. I'm fine with her being the first black Supreme Court justice. I'm cool with that. I just don't understand why we have to talk about it like that, right? You know, maybe I was a little too young to remember when Thurgood Marshall, not Thurgood, well, I wasn't even alive when Thurgood
right.
was, but I'm not that old, but Thurgood Marshall and
Clarence Thomas.
Clarence Thomas, that's what I was thinking of.
Clarence Thomas, was he elected during, was he HW or
HW?
Okay.
HW.
He's a Yale guy, I think.
Correct. And so
Ivy Leaguer.
Right, correct. And then also Daniel Cameron, who is the first, was it Attorney General of Kentucky?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. All right. And so I don't, again, I for whatever reason, I have no quarrels again with the fact that she has been nominated or any of that. I think that that's a wonderful thing. I think it's good for, in general, to have balance on the court. When I say the court, I don't mean balance on the court. I mean balance on the court, right?
Correct.
But at the same time, I will say this. I just don't like the labels. Labels just bring about division. And so, there's been a lot of conversation about spiritual warfare and what is that and what division looks like. And so I consider these people to be somewhat of, I guess you could say, how would I say it? Government serpents, per se. And
Mm-hmm.
so we had a discussion earlier today, and you can feel free to chime in, JoJo. But I'm curious. If you saw a butterfly in your house, right? What would you do? You probably would let it out, right? Yeah. Okay, right. You're not going to kill it. All right. If you saw, maybe even if you saw like I've even done it before where I've seen like a daddy long leg or something. I might, pick it up by one of its things and, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just kind of, throw it outside because they don't pose really that much of a harm.
Mm-hmm.
They bite you, but they not so small to bite you. But they do bite you, they poison you.
Well, I believe it.
They're not so small, they can't bite you, but if they do, they poison you.
Sure. Well, what I'm saying is, I'm looking at it from a standpoint of, okay, so these are things that we might see, and you like get rid of it. What if you saw a viper in your house, or a boa constrictor, or not even a viper, a cobra, a python, something like that? Would you just throw it outside, try to usher it outside?
Fuck no.
I'd throw a cover on it, wrap it up, and then throw it outside.
Okay, you would?
Yeah, I'd get a big cover it up, wrap it, and then throw it outside.
But you'd let it live?
Yeah.
You?
I don't want that blood on my house, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's not a mess to clean up.
Well, see, the difference, I'd kill it, because it might come back.
If it's inside my house, I'm taking it out and killing it.
Sure, I get it. Now, I'm just saying, what about you?
Yeah, instinctually, sheesh. Honestly, if I saw a viper or boa constrictor, I probably leave it alone. And then call animal control service.
But what do you think they're going to do?
But if I have, well, they're going to catch it. They're not going to kill it.
Okay, and then where's it going now?
They might take it back to, I guess, whatever the animal service pound is, and they might kill it, or they might release it into the wild. I mean, if I have the proper weaponry, then I will kill it.
Okay.
But that would be, a pistol,
Oh, sure. I mean, because the idea is that I'd be fearful that it would come back. You know what I mean? And so,
yeah, kill it.
I'm just saying that to say, so when we start talking about serpents, government serpents, spiritual warfare, and things of that nature, here's what we need to understand. I see no need to. I think that if she's a qualified member of the court, I think that she's a qualified member of the court, and she's a new Supreme Court justice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any need to put a label on it. I think labels bring about division. But this country is kind of built on that. In fact, the whole world is. So here's the question. When we start talking about serpents, why? Again, I think we've had this discussion before, but why did the serpent not go straight to Adam? Why did he go to Eve?
One could infer that he believed that she was mentally weaker.
Okay, sure. I mean, that's exactly what it was. In fact, the serpent didn't show up in the garden until man and woman came together. And here's what's interesting about that. All right, let's pause. So, like I said, if Taylor was a little bitty baby and she was outside playing, which nowadays that's kind of dangerous anyway, but if she was a little bitty baby and she was outside playing, and a man wanted to get inside my house, he would probably go up to her and say, "Hey," with a very soft, kind voice, "Hey, where's your daddy?
Mm-hmm.
Is your daddy home? When is he going to be home? Whatever. Okay, well, I have something for your daddy.
Mm-hmm.
Can I bring it inside?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is. Okay, same thing with, and it's worked the same way. I've actually been in a salon before, and I've heard a woman have an issue with the husband of that woman saying, well, he had something for the husband, he just dropped it off earlier. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would say, well, why not just talk to me about it and wait till I'm home? Because if a man walks up to me and he says to me, hey, when are you going to be home?
Mm-hmm.
And when are you leaving, Laris? And when are you going to be home? Likely the man is going to say, why the fuck are you asking me that?
Mm-hmm.
Right, JoJo? Okay? So they're going to always go the back way. They're not going to ever come the direct way. Now, let's move forward. We talked about slavery before and all this, that, and other. And slaves are, I think, what you would call the first police force in this country was 5-star slave catchers. They returned slaves to plantations as property of the plantation, and we can fast forward property of the state, et cetera, et cetera. But that's what they were derived for. They're slave catchers, right? That 5-star, that sheriff symbol, that's a slave catcher. That's what they're there for. But in most cases, they need help to get there.
Right.
They're going to go the back way. So let's start off with, we start talking about spiritual warfare and all this, that, and the other, and division, more importantly. And this is why I took issue with. Now, keep in mind, Ketanji what?
Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Ketanji Brown Jackson.
We can just call her Justice Jackson at this
Justice
point.
Jackson, that's fine. Okay, that works for me
That'll make
too.
it simpler.
All right, so keep in mind, I want to show you the high level of division that exists right now in society. I don't care who she's married to. That's not my business. But she's married to. You look up who she's married to. How about that? I'm not going to say that. You look up who she's married to. I don't have an issue with that. Mm-hmm. Now, when Daniel Cameron got in his position and people talked about him, you know what I heard? Oh, he's married to a white woman.
Mm-hmm.
Clarence Thomas. Oh, he's married to a white woman.
Mm-hmm.
I say candidates are candidates, and officers of the judicial circuit are just what they are. But when we start talking, there's double standards associated with this, right?
100%.
And that's why I just don't like when I hear that. When I hear the first black woman. Why don't we say we got a new justice that's qualified? Justice Jackson. Why do we have to note that? What benefit is it of ours to have somebody to say that they look like us?
It technically, you can't say that there is a benefit, but you can't say that there isn't as well. I mean, just because someone looks like me doesn't mean that they're going to do right by me. Or even in that matter, she might not necessarily even be the most qualified person for the job. I mean, obviously the Senate and the House believe so, but it could be an optics thing, you know?
Sure. Okay, so we agree that just because somebody looks like you doesn't mean that they work in your interest.
No.
And we also could agree that just because somebody is being nice to you, it doesn't mean that they're working in your interest. So if the government goes to, let's start with Section 8 housing, says to you, hey, you can get, you can get free rent, right? For you and your children, right? Or subsidized rent for you and your children. There's one caveat. What's that? The father can't live here. All right, fast forward. Child support. A whole division of child support court is set up. A whole division. Whole thing. Hey, but here's the thing. Here's the trick. The serpent used the same trick in the garden. I'm gonna show you. I'm showing you something. I'm going somewhere with this, and we can have the real discussion. If you eat the fruit, you'll be as smart as he is. He knows that. Talking about God in this case. He knows that. You should do it. Hey, here's the trick. I'll take care of your rent. They say beware of strangers bearing gifts.
100 always.
Okay. Because I got your back, sister. I got your back. I got you covered. Okay. We just can't have the man staying here. Because the children don't need to be around the man. He is a bad, vile person. He's sorry. It's really what it is. You know what I mean? He doesn't want to work. We got your back. This is about us having your back. This isn't about dividing the family. This is about us having your back. Child support court. A whole division dedicated to child support court. Hey, that no good rascal is not paying his money to take care of his kids. You know what we're going to do? We're going to take his license. That's crazy because he might drive for a living. If he lives in Georgia, he's probably driving to work.
Yep.
We'll take his license or we'll lock him up. Now, if he drives to work, and first and foremost, even when we start talking about 30-year mortgages and all that, have you ever known anybody to not have a bad financial year in 30 years straight? Is that probable? Is that likely?
I believe so.
Okay, let's say the father has a bad year. He gets behind. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to child support court for that no good scoundrel. Take his ass to court. Because the man done told me that he is here because he got my back. Okay, let's do the logic behind that. If he's in jail or he can't drive to make money, he damn sure can't give you the money now.
Nope.
But they say, we got your back. That's what this is about. We got your back. We got your back, sister. No good scoundrel. It's about us having your back. That's what this is about. We are here to help you. We're not here to destroy your community. We're here to help you from these heathen men. Okay. Abortion. Oh, by the way, Justice Jackson, nor Clarence Thomas were on that court. And there's an argument that, men should not tell women what to do with their body, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, that was an all-male court that decided that decision. So they didn't have a problem with them telling them what to do with their body then. Mm-hmm. But here's the point. It's not about, even though the most aborted babies in this country are black, disproportionately per capita, it's not about destroying black babies. It's about you having the right to decide what you do with your body. Girl, nobody told you should have the right to decide what you do with your body. Nobody told you that? Mm-hmm. Huh. This said, no. There's nothing underhanded about this. We come bearing gifts to you to empower you. That's what this is about. Get in trouble, period. Have some sort of domestic issue or dispute. Mm-hmm. How many times we argue? We've argued plenty of times, haven't we?
Plenty of times.
Man, Don's argue, fight, all that stuff. Now, people that love each other and live together, they don't argue. They don't get into it. No. It's roses and sunshine every day. Every day. You get in trouble? First thing is, hey, whatever you do, do not communicate with this person. Well, why not? Well, it's for their safety. No, it couldn't be so that they can secure a case against you, and they know that communication brings about an opportunity to mend disagreements. No, it's not about that, man. It's about us having your back for your safety. I want y'all to take a good look at what's going on out here. A good look. And I'm telling you, what you're going to see is division. So I don't have a problem with Justice Jackson. I congratulate her on what she's accomplished. I have a problem with black female, black male, labels. Why not just rattle off all their accomplishments? Why is it that? Why do we have to do that in this society? And so I'm just, that's my piece on it. I mean, y'all can go ahead and do what you want to do, say what you want to say, but I mean, I'm curious to know what you think. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think abortion is a matter. It ultimately it is a woman's choice what she does do with her body. Now, as it pertains to what I personally think, I mean, if a woman is having a child and obviously a man helped create that child, I think there needs to be some form of dialogue between both parties as far as, I mean, maybe I've actually heard of instances where the man hasn't wanted to, have the child aborted, but the woman did, and vice versa. The woman wanted to keep it and the man didn't.
Well, that's her decision. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. It definitely is. But I mean, as far as
woman tell you she don't want to be a mother, I think I'd run from that. But go ahead. I'd probably have that discussion up front, though.
Well, and I would too. But maybe just because she births a child, that doesn't mean that she has to be a mother to it either. She could just give the baby to the father. I mean,
or she could just be a bad mother.
That too.
You know what I mean? And they will. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you. I know I got people in all parts of the United States that have experienced that.
Yeah. I mean, Lord knows we don't need to bring any more babies into this world that can't be properly taken care of. I mean, that's just how I personally feel. If the mother and or father can't do a good job at raising the child and being able to support the child or truly make an effort to be in that child's life, then I could see how someone could make the case for abortion, and it being necessary.
I have to recluse myself from that. But here's what I will say. What I will say is this. It should not be a form of birth control. Right? I do understand that there are things that happen. Like when we start talking about, even though it's less than 1%, when we start talking about sexual assault. Okay? I get that, right? But I don't understand some other things. I don't understand, yeah, go ahead and nut in me, and then, worst case scenario, if I get pregnant, I can just get an abortion. No, I don't understand that.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't understand, because why would we be sleeping with somebody that we're not into like that without a condom in the first place? Now, to me, that's crazy. But anyway,
there are some pleasure hounds out here, and some people who believe in raw pleasure, real pleasure, and they don't want anything to interrupt that pleasure.
Well,
so
I got some friends.
But I'm with you. I'm with you. But I mean, again, I've known.
If you got 18 years to take care of it, go right ahead, because it's gonna cost you. It's gonna cost you financially. It's gonna cost you emotionally. Man, some of them dudes is stressed, man.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it never ends being a parent, and I'm not a parent, but I'm sure it is a beautiful thing from what I've seen. But it seems like it can be hell on some people too, which is obviously why you need to be careful as to who you decide to have children with, and just who you invite into your life. Period. It doesn't even have to be a who you decide to have children with thing.
Sure. And I wasn't microcosming this thing to relegating it to an abortion type of thing. I was more or less looking at just this notion of so many things that these government serpents have done that they come and they come to our people, they come to our women as angels of light.
Oh yeah.
And really what they're trying to do is eliminate us.
That's kind of
well. You can't have a community without a family.
100%. I mean, that's kind of been the MO. That's kind of what this country's built on.
Division.
In a weird way, it's built on eliminating black people as a whole, but more importantly, the black male. It's nothing for the most part is set up in our favor.
Well, yeah. I was just saying the world in general. That's why I had to take it back to the reference of the Adam and Eve thing, because. Again, I mean, from the inception of the world, he never shows up. Like, there's certain hallmarks in the Bible. Like, as I've been reading the Bible and learning about it, and I'll get into that. Somebody should ask me, like, was I okay? Because I was posting scriptures and stuff like that. I'm like, why is there something? Why is that a red flag? You know what I mean? But at any rate, so Goliath never shows up until David has to fight. Like, there's certain things that just happen. There are certain hallmarks. The serpent probably was in the garden from the get-go, but he didn't show up until man and woman came together. He was there to bring about division. And there is that same enemy is still here. And people just don't believe. Some people just don't believe that fat meat is greasy.
Well, it's greasy.
And some people will say, well, nah, it's just about making good choices. Let me tell you something. Everybody makes bad choices. Because I haven't met God yet in the flesh walking around here.
Me neither.
I know some pretty damn good people. I know some pretty bad people. I have never met God myself. Do you know that in the state that we're in, they can find anything to be wrong with you? Do you know that if, hypothetically, I have a sedan and I put 4 kids in the back seat of a car, did you know that if a police wanted to, they could write me up for felony child endangerment by having 4 kids in the backseat of a car?
No.
The law is very broad. I'm just saying everybody, regardless of circumstance, can be, that's child endangerment.
Right.
That's child endangerment. See, a DUI is still a misdemeanor. But I know people, because I know attorneys, who, if they drive their kids, let's say they all went out to dinner. Let's say a family goes out to dinner. Husband gets pulled over in a DUI or, a routine, stop or whatever. The DUI is a misdemeanor. However, there's kids in the car. Now you got a felony.
Child endangerment.
Child endangerment case.
Yeah, that actually just happened to this popular soccer star. She won gold. Her name is Hope Solo. Some of the viewers, if they're into soccer, she's famous from the Olympics, past 2 Olympics or 3 Olympics, but nonetheless, she's a woman soccer star, and she had her 2 children in the back seat of a car, and they went out, and she was so hammered that she fell asleep in the front seat, and somebody saw that she was asleep in the parking lot and that she had 2 kids in the back of the car. Mm-hmm. So obviously she got arrested, and and actually I can actually look up the charges to be specific, but this is a very real thing that actually just happened. So,
no, I believe it. And so she wasn't even driving. She had pulled over and parked.
No, she was in, I guess, wherever they were leaving. She had fallen asleep in the parking lot of wherever they were at.
Well, and then there's various degrees.
So she wasn't pulled over or anything.
There's various degrees to certain things too, right? You know what I mean? Because legally all you have to do is have a BAC above a .08 in order for it to be considered DUI.
Yeah, she was asleep for 1 hour after they... Well, prior to her getting arrested, she was asleep for an hour in her car.
Yeah. So, at any rate, I mean, I get it, right? You know what I mean? I'm with you. I'm just saying, in general, there is, I don't know, man. I mean, this stuff is real out here, and so what I've learned to think is that So somebody asked me, they say, "Hey, man, is everything okay?" Yeah, everything's okay with me. I mean, I've got challenges, but everybody has challenges. But you have to understand this. I mean, you remember when I was down there in Florida, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm not as tall as you are. What are you, 6'2", 6'3"?
6'1", 6'2".
Yeah, I would say 6'2", because I'm 5'11". So you got to be about a few. But the point is that I'm not a giant, but I'm too tall to be weighing 160 something pounds.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm down there dark as a lump of coal and feeble as hell. And I had enough sense to say, okay, man, I got to get on up out here, man. There's something wrong with these people, because I didn't come in here looking like this. I know this thing ain't the way this thing's supposed to go.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so what I have found is that you cannot ensure that people will do right by you in any capacity. And you can be you don't have, because somebody sits in a classroom for 4 more years and incurs $200,000+ more in debt doesn't mean they're not a liar.
Correct.
You understand what I'm saying?
100%.
So because somebody puts on a minister's robe, a liar is a fucking liar.
Correct.
I mean, that's just what it is. You know what I mean? I don't have to respect people because of their titles.
Of their job title. Well,
I don't have to do that. And what I was trying to say is that, see, when demons start showing up and devils and serpents start showing up, people always say, well, there's a way to do everything. There's no nice way to deal with devils. Devils don't roll up on you to tell jokes. They come there to kill you, man. Ain't no nice way of dealing with somebody like that. Because when you can see what it is, you can call it what it is.
Yep.
And so, nonetheless, here's my point in saying that. Fast forward. It doesn't matter what it is, doctors, whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter the relationship. You cannot ensure that people will do right by you.
100%.
Additionally, if you run for help or seek refuge in other people and say, can you help out with this, man? Can you do something about this? You cannot ensure that they will help you.
Correct.
And if you take up for yourself, because you're like, hold on, man, I can't keep letting somebody do me this way. Now you might get in trouble. So you know what I said, hell, you know what? The smartest thing to do at this point is then I have to start searching the scriptures, because I can't defend myself. I can't ask other people to defend me when things ain't right. And I can't ensure that other people will do right by me. So I got no choice now but to lean on God and let him do it.
Correct.
Because there are caveats out here by these 5-star slave catchers that are put in place, to harm good people. You know what I mean? And nobody plays everything by the book.
Nobody, no.
Nobody does. I haven't seen one person that doesn't shit their pants during an IRS audit. Nobody does everything by the book. And let's be honest about that. Everybody is a walking sinner and a criminal if the paperwork is written up right.
Correct.
At the discretion of the person writing up the paperwork.
Correct.
And so I'm saying that to say, if you see me posting things spiritually, it's because I've learned now to tap into, hey man, look, you got to do this because I've tried to do everything right. And I can't get assistance. And I was taught growing up, our mother always taught us only a fool won't stand up for themselves. But you had enough, you stand up for yourself, you say, man, we can't continue on like this, man. No, this is BS. Mm-hmm. You can get in trouble for that. Because everybody has a way. That's why we did the Will Smith show last week. And that's why I'm sympathetic of Will Smith. Because I see he's in a conundrum. I don't think he had a problem with Chris Rock. Mm-hmm. Honestly. I think that he was in a conundrum. But I don't know. And that's why I said Will Smith would have to come here and I would have to ask Will Smith. But I am not going to theorize things that I don't know about or comment per se on things that I don't know about because I wasn't there. Right. So I had a conversation with somebody in our family, mm-hmm. and I said, is I don't know an absolute statement or a double entendre. So I think that they were baffled by the question. So I went back and broke down an absolute statement and double entendre. Double entendre means, does it have two meanings?
Correct.
You can say it, but it can mean this thing, it can mean that thing. I believe it's an absolute statement. I believe I don't know is an answer. If I brought you a box that had jelly beans or a jar that had jelly beans in it, and I said, how many jelly beans are in there? You can say, I don't know.
Right.
You don't have to say, I think that it's this many. And so what we have now is people who make statements like that person who said what they said and that I had the conversation with earlier that will say, well, look at it from this way. Maybe they thought it was this. Well, you can't say you can't say that somebody doesn't know you. And then keep in mind, Laris, they don't know you. So maybe they say things based off of this, that, and other. No. What I'm saying is the answer is that what kind of statement am I looking for? The definitive statement here is I don't know. So when you don't know things, you ought not just say I don't know.
Right.
I can't help you with this because I don't know. But the power of suggestion, God, man. Whew. Anyway, so nonetheless, we can move forward with that. The Lakers didn't make the damn playoffs.
No, they're terrible. And something's got to be done about it. And when I say something's got to be done about it, they need to blow the team up. They need to get rid of everybody because that core, they're not going to win with that core. LeBron has already hinted at several statements as far as, just I'd love just subtle post online, Cleveland will always be home, and I'd love to play with Steph Curry, and just, kind of unnecessary comments. I mean, but when you've reached the pinnacle of basketball, he can kind of get away with saying whatever he wants to say. But essentially, they're finished. They're finished.
Yeah.
And he constructed the team, so that's why I bring up LeBron. I don't believe it to be Rob Pelinka's fault. I don't believe it to be Frank Vogel's fault. He is the GM of the team, and he's the most powerful player in the NBA, and he gets his way. And we've seen that throughout the history of his career. He gets whatever he wants. Why? Because he's the most popular player, and he draws the most attention. He has the most power.
Okay, so check this out. Why didn't it work?
Well, to me, I don't really think it was necessarily an issue of Davis and LeBron and Westbrook per se. I just think that when building a team, you have to surround your star players with players that can complement them, or who can, so to speak, bail them out when they're in a jam. I mean, and they didn't have that. Anthony Davis was consistently hurt, and the role players on the team were old veteran players, who they have gas left in the tank, but they're not going to be as effective as somebody that's, younger in the NBA, somebody that's in their mid-20s that's, looking to get that max contract, or who's more athletic and I just don't think they had a good supporting cast around them. I mean,
sure, no, I get it. I mean, I think that there was just bad chemistry. You know what I mean? And so when I was teaching biological science over at Crim, Crim, was Alonzo Crim High School or whatever, Crim in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. I was having a talk with some of the girls there, and we were talking about the periodic table. And one of the things that I illustrated to them while I was in there, I said, there's all this chatter and gossip, and that's stuff that's typical of teenage girl behavior.
Right.
However, what I said was, what you have to understand is that you cannot, going back to the I don't know you thing, you cannot take, if I mix hydrogen and boron together, mm-hmm. I might get one outcome. If I mix hydrogen and oxygen together, we get, if you get two, what was it, H2? If I put two atoms of hydrogen together and one of oxygen, you get water. Here's what I'm trying to say. This is what I'm trying to illustrate. The point is that not all chemicals mix together.
Correct.
Right? You know what I'm saying? So you cannot say, we cannot begin to infer or say, well, you shouldn't like this person because they did this or they said that. Not all chemicals work well together. You know what I mean?
100%.
So we can't just assume that if we have Russell Wilson, if we got Anthony Davis, if we got LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, all of these components that they mix well together, because some things don't, like you say, they don't complement each other well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so
it's like sugar and sweetener. I mean, you'd never, while they both serve the same purpose of sweetening a dish, they would taste god awful if you were concocting a beverage. Let's say you're making lemonade and you wanted to use half sugar, half sweetener. It would taste off.
Right.
It would taste completely off.
Right. Exactly.
They both serve the same purpose. They just.
Yeah. So in the hospital, when I had hernia surgery, they gave me fentanyl. Right. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? As a painkiller. They administered it. They administered the right dosage based off of my body, blood type, all this, that, and the third. You know what I mean? But you get the wrong dose out on the street, it'll kill you.
Yeah.
And so I've never even come across it out on the street. But I'm just saying in general, you know what I mean? Everything has to be administered according to whatever its portion and complementary law is. And so I would say, look, get to know people for yourself, man. Don't go off what people tell you, man, because all of us, I've been places, man, people have said some god-awful things. And I just said, look, man, I put a post up, I said, call me, man. Just call me and talk. I'm a very straightforward person. If I call you out, I'm not going to, there are people that have said, oh, man, I think he's talking about me about this, that, and other. No, that's wrong. Because if I talk about you, I'm going to say your name. I'm not going to, you know what I mean? I'm not that type of person. I'm not going to talk in circles.
Well, how narcissistic of the individual to think that they were being talked about. I mean,
I have no idea. The arrogance. The fees and everything here is that
7 p.m.
I'm gonna build a damn show around you.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's crazy. But I mean,
then there's almost an admittance of guilt. Maybe if you put up a general statement, maybe they felt like it applied to them because maybe they read it and said, you know what? I fit into that category. I have done.
Yeah, and there's thousands of people that fit in that category. And so I put a post up and had to go through everything I was going through because people started taking stuff personal, man. You didn't call me back. You didn't text me back. I've been trying to reach you. I'm like, okay, let's just do it like this, man. Let's get transparent like this. This is what I got going on. Now, if I don't call you back, this is why. It ain't you. I don't have no. I mean, but call me. Call me and ask me. Say, man, is there something going on? And I can tell you. If it is, it is. If it ain't, it ain't. 9 times out of 10, I'm a very forgiving person because I make mistakes. Mm-hmm. So I'll forgive.
We all do.
You know what I'm saying? I understand that it is, a part of the Lord's Prayer, forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. I ain't got no problem with that, man. We can talk about anything as long as we being straightforward. Bullshitting ain't gonna work though. You know what I mean? Once I know that, once I feel that, then it ain't that. But just call me, man. Just call me, especially if we family members. You know what I mean? And we're in the same bloodline. Like, hey, call me. Just call me. Just call me. I don't have to talk indirectly. The difference, see, that's how people talk because people are afraid to get out and say what they want to say. I don't do that. If I do something, I'm gonna tell you something. If I was going to do something, I'm gonna do it out in the open. I'm not one of them people that's gonna hide.
Subliminally.
I'm not gonna hide.
Well,
yeah,
you don't get anywhere like that. Truthfully, I mean, to be quite frank, being open and honest and cutthroat and straight to the point, that'll get you a lot further in life. Because I mean, you could dance around with someone or for something. Let's say I'll use the example of someone liking a girl, right? But they're not telling them. Maybe they do subtle things to let them know. But they just get a lot further if they just went straight up to them like, hey, do you like me in this sense? And
because I like you this way. Right. Well, you think can we give me a chance?
Do you think we can make something work as opposed to consistently, buying candies and doing these things, loaning pencils, flowers, good morning texts, these things that don't clearly, obviously mean anything to this person of the opposite sex. And it works for women too. It's not just the male to female thing. There are women who actually do it to men as well.
Right. Yeah, I ain't never met a woman. If I like a woman, I'm gonna walk straight up on you. I don't give a damn if it's, you know what I mean? If it's the damn, if you got a what do you call it? I forgot the name of that army. I wouldn't give a damn if you had the U.S. Army out there around you. I'm gonna come straight at you. Right. And anybody that knows me knows that. If I got a problem with you, I'm gonna meet you in the streets with it. I'm gonna come. It doesn't matter where we are. It could be church. I'm not that type of person, dog. I don't oftentimes have problems with people because I try to be good to people. And a person that's been close to me in my life that I ain't did nothing for. And I would do it again. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because that's the type of person I am. You know what I'm saying? So, but man, all this running and hiding, and I'm gonna tell you why you don't do that neither. Because at the end of the day, if people like you or if they love you, they gonna like you or love you regardless. If they don't like you, if they don't love you, it ain't nothing you can do to win them over. Yep. So you may as well just be your authentic self and give them a chance to get to know the person. Give them a chance to get to know you. Give yourself a chance. Believe in yourself, man.
100%.
Believe in yourself. And so I ain't met a successful person yet that is not somebody who is confident and cocky at the same time.
Well, the question is, I mean, as this even pertains to getting straight to the point, I mean, bringing up the confidence part, I mean, would you rather be overconfident or have low self-esteem? Because you're not going to get anywhere with low self-esteem, period.
No, you won't.
At all. And people don't have, like, if you have self-pity for yourself, no one's going to have pity for you. Especially being men. I mean, maybe I'm not a woman, but especially for a man and more importantly a black man, there's nobody cares.
No, they don't.
It's they don't care, so.
They don't. Would it be used? Now look at Ecclesiastes 7:28. Now that's not saying that all women are bad, but if you read that in the context of what it comes from, where Solomon was talking about that, Ecclesiastes 7:28, and this is free, and this is for the brethren.
You gonna read it or you?
No, I mean I know the scripture. I mean basically he said while searching in the land amongst 1,000 men he could find one, but not one good woman. That doesn't mean that they are not good women. But they were putting it in the context of where Solomon was in that land. And I'm saying that maybe if you're striking out and you're a good dude, maybe you don't need to date women in Atlanta. Maybe you need to go to Birmingham. You know what I mean? Or maybe you need to go to the Caribbean. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We're not saying that because most of the good ones are already taken. You know what I mean? I wish our sisters understood that they come across a good dude. Yeah, I seen a post earlier today that said a good man doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, he doesn't cheat, and he also doesn't exist. So I mean, it's something you're gonna deal with something. I mean, it just depends on what your threshold is for dealing with.
Yeah.
And it's the other way around on both sides. You know what I mean? It's gonna be something. You're gonna deal with something. You know, and I wish everybody well and luck in their endeavors, and I hope that they do well. But I say be patient with people, man. Work with people. You know what I mean? Give people a chance, man. Give them a chance. Hear them out. You know, you can fix anything if you can talk to each other. You know, but if you're not communicating, and get rid of all that texting too, man. I hate that, man. You cannot effectively have any type of real relationship with texting. I mean, when you got a problem with your bill or something, you want somebody on the phone. You don't want to get into all that messaging shit.
No,
you know what I mean?
you can't. But as far as texting is effective, if you and the two people know each other and have an established relationship and have known each other for a while now. As far as getting to know and strengthening a new relationship, no, I don't. I'm anti-texting.
Well, I think texting. I think that I think that we closing out. I think that texting is you feel free to sit down now. I think that texting is good if it's like, okay, what time do you need me to be there?
Right.
But when it comes to how I feel, it doesn't have cadence, pitch, any of these things. You know what I'm saying? So for that matter, I would say it's not an effective way to communicate when it comes to your feelings.
Oh, I'm with you.
You need to talk. You need to talk. And you need to demand that if you're dealing with somebody that they talk to you. Or y'all go and talk to somebody who can help you. But don't go to your friends, because they want you in the same boat they in, which was with no fucking body. I'm telling you what I know, man. You know what I mean? Let me tell you something. So, at any rate, that's my 2 cents. Did you have something else you wanted to say?
You know, just as it pertains to the things we talked about today, you know, protect your peace, obviously. Make sure, you know, whatever it is you're doing in life and the people you associate yourself with, whether that be family, friends, professionally, your love life, make sure you gel. Make sure it's a good fit, because if it's not going to work and it's not going to last. So, you know, take the time out to, you know, explore those insecurities you both might have. And again, that's in any relationship. That could be a business relationship, you know, dating relationship. It applies to many different things.
And it is hard. It's hard. It's hard to be your authentic self. You know what I mean? Because you get crucified, you get called crazy. So I can understand the fear and the apprehension that people have with that. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna tell you something, man. If you're real, man, you get a passport everywhere, man. The damn, you know what I mean? Everywhere from the church house to the dope house, to Moore house, to the warehouse, to the courthouse,
to the gambling house.
You know what I mean? If you keep it real, man, you respect it everywhere. I can guarantee you that. You know what I mean? I've cut some people out, man. They came back and they said they respect me. I'm like, damn, I didn't expect that. You know what I mean? Okay, man. Look, we're about to get on out of here, man. East Point, smoke some dank. See you next week.